everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of the First and Goal FPF podcast. I'm your host, Brent Bodkin, along with my co-host, Quaysie Maule. Let's hop right into it. We have our all-star selections. So something a little different this week. Instead of doing one for 6B and one for 6A, we figured let's kind of bring in both divisions into one. So it's an entire all-star roster for myself and one for Quaysie, 8 players each, but we're gonna do Division 6 in its entirety. So really like the best of the best players are gonna be making up the rosters, obviously. So this should be some fun.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's hop into it. Okay, so the last time we did women's one, so you picked first last time.
Yeah,
exactly. So this time I'm gonna get the first pick. All right, so I'm gonna roll. So originally, I thought this was we're gonna do one for 6B and one for 6A. So I'm glad we clarified that right here. So that's actually gonna change who I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna go. Okay, you know what? Actually, I'm looking at my team here. I'm gonna go with Kyle Pedvis from Team
V. Okay, he's quarterback, right?
Yeah, quarterback. Yeah, so my quarterback Kyle Pedvis, Team V. He's already cracked the 1,000-yard barrier. He has like 1,100 yards actually, 31 TDs. He's phenomenal. And on defense, he contributed as well. He has 3 INTs on defense, 1 return for a pick 6. So a guy that could play 2 ways. One of the key things I like about Pedvis is he's completed 67% of his passes, and he's only been sacked 3 times. That's big. You could have a lot of completion yards, a lot of touchdowns, but I noticed a lot of quarterbacks are completing around 50 to 55, which isn't horrible. But if you have someone that's 65 and over, in my opinion, that's an elite quarterback in Division 6, whether it's 6A and 6B. So again, Kyle Pedvis from Team V is my QB, my number 1 choice.
Okay, good pick. I'm going to actually take his number 1 receiver.
Okay.
And I'm going to take him. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go with him. Solid player. I have no clue how he's playing at Division 6, to be honest with you. But works for me. So I'm going to go with him.
So you know what? So I can understand how he plays Division 6 because looking at his roster, a lot of his teammates don't have the highest ratings. I think it's a fault of the rating system. Tim Horner, so he's basically a 73 on offense, a 73 on defense. He's played a little quarterback. He's a 72 as a QB. And anyone that's seen this guy play, like Quaysie and I have, he's definitely at least a 77. You could even make the argument maybe even a 78 both ways. He's a phenomenal player. Again, he's playing with some friends, as a lot of guys do in the lower divisions, so you can't fault him for that. But that's the rating system, why he's so low, and they're allowed in Team V to squeeze him on the roster. So, yeah, credit to him for using the cap how it should be. So I'm going to go for another spectacular receiver. I'm going to go, sticking with 6A, the Chomedy Chose. I'm going to go with Jonathan Botazzi. Last year, he was my pick for receiver of the year. This year, 35 catches, 9 touchdowns already. He's averaging 9 yards a catch. On defense, 6 INTs, 17 tackles, 1 pick 6, and a sack. So a guy that can play both ways. So he's going to be my number 1 receiver. So Jonathan Botazzi from the Chomedy Chose is my second overall pick.
Okay, good pick. Actually, I have him also too on my my list. I'm gonna go to 6B. I'm gonna take a kid that I actually coach. He plays on Impact. Sorry, I just want to get this. Properly, his name is Raphael.
Yeah, Raphael. Yeah, I seen him.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with him. Solid player. He's young, but he's getting better. Also playing flag. He plays 7-on-7 for the school that I coach at. He's probably one of the top guys right now. He plays offense, defense. I think he's top 5 in receiving yards, number 5 for touchdowns, and he's like probably one of the top 5 DBs right now with his interceptions.
So I'm looking at this. I'm looking at him. So speaking to what you're talking about, right? He's a rookie. He's a solid player. Yeah, 26 receptions, 287 yards, 11 TDs, which is impressive. And on defense, 17 tackles, 6 INTs. He's a 2-way and one touchdown on defense. I'm not going to lie, he was going to be my next pick. So congrats to you on getting him because this guy can ball. This guy can definitely ball. Okay, so I'm going to roll then with I'm going to go. So a little bit of cheating. I've said numerous times I work for McGill on this podcast, so I get a chance to watch and call some of their football games, well, all their football games. I'm going to go with Will Langley. Now, I was looking. He subbed a game in a higher division. I think it was Division 3, if I'm not mistaken, but that's one game. I'm not going to hold that against him. So Will Langley, tall receiver former tight end / receiver at McGill. He's playing with the Emperor Retete, again, the retired Emperors. Fantastic receiver. Only 15 catches, but he has 6 TDs. But on defenses where he's making a huge impact. 5 INTs so far, 4 pass deflections. So Will Langley, receiver, tight end, whatever you want to put him on the field, he makes an impact, and that's what I have on my team as my 3rd overall pick.
Okay, nice pick. I'm going to take. Well, you already have a quarterback, so I could just kind of hold my pick for my quarterback at that point. I'm gonna go with. I'm also gonna go with the McGill swim team. I'm gonna go with a DB.
Nice. Yeah, I know where you're going.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Keon Circus.
Yeah. So Cyrus. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with him. Pull up the stats. I don't have it written down.
I can tell you. I'm friends with him. I'm friends with his family. I saw him play on Monday at San Laurent. I scored, kept his game. Phenomenal 2-way player. He's going to be upset with me now when I see him that I didn't pick him higher, because that was going to be my next pick. Great kid, great player. He's one of those guys. Played with, again, the McGill swim team. They started, I think, one of the lowest divisions, if not the lowest, a couple of years ago. They're slowly kind of working their way up as they get a better roster. And he's subbed on a couple of teams. He's playing on a couple of higher division teams, or mid-division teams, I guess you could say. A great player, and he's a guy you want on your team.
Yeah, so just look at his stats right now. He has 9 tackles, 9 interceptions, 5 PDs, and one INT for a touchdown.
100%. So I want to give a quick shout out actually to Kyle, to Keon, his brother Kai. So his brother Kai, I went to school with their mom. So their mom is Lynn Sock. Quick story. I have a podcast of my own besides this one. It's called the 514 Show. I had his mom on, Lynn Sock. She's a financial advisor. There's a whole bunch of things. She's actually coming out with a book. So she's an author, and she's launching a tech company pretty soon. So if you have a chance, check out my podcast, the 514 Show. It's available on Spotify. It's a shameless plug, I know. It's available on Spotify, anywhere else you get podcasts. So Lynn Sock, financial advisor, she'll help you out. First-time home buyer, whatever. Great family. Okay, so moving on. Okay, so you got, that was going to be my next pick, 100%. Okay, so you have Keon. All right, so solid. I'm gonna go with no, I'm gonna wait a little later for him because I'm not sure if you know about him yet. I'm gonna go with yeah. There's a kid I saw that's playing. Anyways, kid I saw is playing safety. He blew my mind. Anyways, I'm gonna go with Sean Costello from the Stables. That's a Division 6B team. 23 catches, not bad. 427 yards, 8 TDs. The reason why I'm adding him is he adds speed. 19 yards a catch. So 19 yards a catch, that tells you that he's a blazer. He can take the top off of defense, and every team needs a deep threat. That's what I'm going with. Sean Costello from the Stables.
Okay, good pick. I'm going to go back to Division 6A, and I'm going to take Max Karoff from the Scumbags.
Yeah, nice.
Pull up his stats here.
It's like, so you know what? He's the last name I wrote down on my wide receivers from 6A, and it's like I think we have a lot of the same guys on our list. He's a good player. I've seen him play. Actually, he's a pretty good player. He is a pretty good player. Okay. I like that.
I'll just let you go now.
So one thing I like so far, we're not just picking guys from like the best teams. So I know one of us last week in Women's One, they kind of picked a lot of the same females from pretty much the two top teams in the division, which is the easy way out. So I mean, all right, we're keeping it real this time. All right, okay. So you have him. Okay, so yeah, Max Kadanoff from the Scumbags, solid player, 5 TDs, 375 yards. Okay, I'm gonna go on. Yeah, sorry, Scumbags, my bad. Yeah, I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go back to defense for a second. So I'm gonna pick this guy. I discovered him today when I was doing my prep. Jonah Washberg. I hope it's either Walkberg or Washberg. I'm gonna say Waksberg. WACH from the Mean Machines.
That's Division 6B
6A. 6A. I want to say the Mean Machines. Yeah, Division 6A. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So the record's not impressive, 1-4, but it's kind of a one-man show on defense. He's doing everything. He has 7 INTs, 2 he ran back to the house. So yeah, that's right there, number 88 there. Jonah Washburn, yeah. So 7 INTs, 2 he ran back to the house. Only 8 tackles, but I mean, he's leading his team in tackles, INTs, and he's tied for the lead in touchdowns. So I'm gonna go with him. So Jonah again, I think that's Waksberg. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not, I apologize. But that's gonna be my next pick.
Yeah, I have him pulled up so the viewers can see. Okay, that's a good pick. I'm gonna go back to Division 6B. I'm gonna take Charles Jolie. He plays on the
Nice.
Panthers.
Yep.
Uh, Shout out to their uniforms. I think I said it before. Here. So right now, he has total. He has 312 yards receiving, 9 touchdowns. He's averaging 14.2 yards per catch. And then on defense, he's a okay player. 13 tackles, 1 interception, 4 PDs. But I took him for more his receiving skills. 312 yards is pretty impressive. 14 yards per thing, and to have 9 touchdowns, he's the stat wise, he's one of the top receivers in Division 6B.
Okay, that's solid. I like that. Okay. I'm gonna jump over. You know what? A couple names now I have I can roll with here. I'm just trying to see. I'm trying to build my team on defense a bit here, right? So I want to make sure I can stop some of the guys you have on offense. I want to make sure everything's in point. With that being said, I'm going to roll here with Eric Paquette from Over Underachievers. Yeah, Eric Paquette from Over Underachievers. 7 INTs already this season. That's pretty impressive. So yeah, that's going to be my next pick. Because again, I want to solidify my defense because you're putting together you're putting together an impressive offense. I got to make sure I can stop you guys.
Yes, yeah, his stats are 14 tackles, 7 INTs, 1 PD, and also So how I can see it, he's played 6 games. He's got 7 INTs. He's averaging 1 pick a game. That's pretty good. Pretty good stat line.
And the thing about it with this guy I like is, so this is his first season back since 2020. So he stopped playing during the COVID season. Looking at it here, he played with Ice Up, Lights Out, Straight Out of Breath, Eskimo Brothers, and he took 5 years off, right? So he's come back this season. He's played a little quarterback too. He has 21 touchdown passes, so he's a guy in a pinch. He's athletic enough to play 2 positions, right? So he can play some quarterback. And again, what he's doing on defense, again, 7 INTs is nothing to spit at, right? So a guy that can give you a little bit of offense if you need it, but definitely can give you some defense. Again, 14 tackles, 7 INTs, 1 pass deflection. Eric Paquette.
Okay. I'm going to take kind of a low-key guy. Not a lot of people know who he is. His name is Stefan Antoine.
Yeah.
He plays for 90s Classic. I actually seen him play. Stat-wise, he has 4 INTs, 1 PD, but he has 3 return touchdowns. So he has 3 touchdowns 3 interceptions for a touchdown. So for me, that's a game changer. And so that's what I'm going to be taking.
I like him. He definitely he's a guy he's one of the last names I was putting on defense, and I was like, okay, this guy can ball. Like you said, 4 INTs. He ran back 3 of them to the house. That's pretty impressive. Okay, I'm gonna roll with let's see here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'm gonna take a chance here. I want to go for rusher just because right now. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna wait. I have an option for rushers. I have 2 options. I'm gonna go with a solid 2-way player. Again, guy could bring you some defense, 3 INTs, and guy can bring you some offense. 19 receptions, 331 yards, 8 TDs. I'm talking about Diego Salvo from VDB Crescent. Diego Salvo, VDB Crescent.
Yeah, I had him too. He was my last guy for Division 6A as receivers that I had on my list.
Yeah, this kid's a rookie, man. He looks like he's the real deal. He looks like he's about it right now. I've seen him play once or twice this season. Like he can ball. He's athletic, definitely ball. So yeah, I'm gonna take that guy on my team. And for me, what makes it even more impressive is he missed a game, right? So he's played 5 out of his teams. I believe they've had 6 games so far. No, pardon, he's only played 4 actually. So he's only played 4 games. That's what it says on the site right now. So he's credited with Actually, yeah, 4 games. So he's played 4 out of the 5. So the man, like I said, already has 8 TDs in 4 games. So that averages out, as you can do the math, 2 TDs a game. That's pretty impressive to get 3 INTs.
Yeah, no, it's good.
He's part of one of the best defenses, if not the best defense, I think, in 6A. They've only let up 95 points so far. So, yep, I got Salvo.
Okay,
So for
I'm
me,
gonna
it's
go
pretty,
with I'm gonna go with a rusher
okay. Yep.
because I have 2 rushers too, but I have 2 rushers too, but I rather which one do I want? Do I want or do I want?
I know who you're looking at too. I know exactly who you're looking at right now.
So there's 2. I'm gonna go with David
Yeah.
Lacobo
Okay. Okay. Yep.
from
Yep. Yep.
LAV Jack Boys.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with him. Sorry, I'm just gonna pull up the stats.
I got it. I got his stats right here. I got his stats right here. 8 sacks, 1 TD. It's pretty impressive.
So that's what I was looking at. So the fact that he has a touchdown adds up. You know, it's a
For sure.
defense.
100%.
Defense gets offensive points, and we can't be mad about that. So we need game changers.
100%. 100%. It's true. Okay. All right. I'm looking. Okay, so that leaves me a lot of different options, man. Because I mean, there's Jackson Venat, I think I hope I'm pronouncing it right. So on a McGill swim team again. So I had a chance to do the game Monday night. He impressed me. He had a couple of sacks in their below W. He has 9 for the season. There's also the guy leading all rushers in Division 6 period, the Liam Caderet of the Panthers. He has 11. Yeah, it's kind of hard right now. Shoot, you give me too many options here. Okay, you know what? And there's another guy too. So I score kept this game a few weeks ago of the Nard Dogs, Vincent Gratton, or Graton. It's either Vincent Gratton or Vincent Graton. I'm pretty sure it's the latter, not the former, but either way. Great player for the Nard Dogs, 8 sacks. But you know what? 11 sacks is 11 sacks. So I'm going to take Liam Caderet of the Panthers.
Okay, and that's Division 6B, right?
Yeah, 6B, yeah.
Okay. As again, shout out to them and their jerseys.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's my pick. I have rusher. Okay, I guess I'll go with my quarterback.
So you got a lot of options here. You got Matthew Boutazzi from the Chomedy Chodes. You got Marc Andre Senecal. I wonder if he's related from FC Bing. I wonder if he's related to Jonathan Senecal.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. So I had 4 quarterbacks.
Okay.
That I was gonna pick. Kyle was 1, Matthew was 1,
Yeah.
Mark was 1, and then Julien was
Costa.
also 1.
I was looking at him too from Impact. Yeah.
So Julien is a bit, as again, I coach these kids from Impact, right? So Julien is a bit like he's kind of getting used to 6-on-6. So I would like a bit more experience. You know, he's a bit young too. You know, so I feel like it's easier to get someone that's a bit more older.
Yeah.
This is how I see it. So I'm gonna go with Marc Andre from FCL Blake.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with. I'm also curious too. I'd be very surprised if he is also related to.
Yeah, Jonathan Seneca. I mean, could be pretty good pedigree, for sure.
Sometimes it happens with that.
So this is the thing I like about this. So the fact, like, we went with just Division 6 in general. So unfortunately, there's a lot of guys left off the list. There was a guy who interested me from Balls Deep, Zach Harvey. So he was a guy. He had a lot of touchdown passes, but he had a lot of INTs. But he was, as a runner, he's phenomenal. He's had about 3 rushing touchdowns. I think he's out over 300 yards rushing. He's added a couple of plays on defense. There's David Ringe, I think, from Emperors Betete. He leads 6B in receptions with 30. There's a lot of guys who definitely could have made this list. Unfortunately, again, going with just Division 6 as a whole, we didn't have a chance to get on. But there's definitely a lot of names. Like you talked about, Julian Kosa is a guy as well. There's Luca Berube from the Panthers. So we left off Matthew Boutazzi, right? I got his brother Jonathan from the Chomedy Chodes, but his brother Matthew, the quarterback, phenomenal quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's left off as well, right? Lewis Epstein, a lot of guys. Anyways, so we apologize to the guys who couldn't take. Again, there's only so many players we could. Doesn't mean we haven't noticed you. Obviously, we have you on our list that means you definitely popped up to us. And there's a ton of other. We only picked 6 guys for 8 guys each, right? So 16 guys in
Yeah.
total. Doesn't mean because you weren't picked that you're not making an impact. So keep on doing what you do, and hopefully you get an actual all-star at the end of the season.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of, as Brent was saying, there's a lot of guys to choose from. I had a list of 26 guys
Right.
that I had that kind of caught my eye, and also some guys that I actually watched scorekeeping. But again, just to take 8 guys, and then you also, and out of the 8 guys, one has to be a quarterback, one has to be a rusher, and you have to get those two-way players as well too.
Yeah.
So even though maybe maybe you're like the top 5 receiver, top 6 receiver, it's hard to pick you because you already have the top 3, and then you want to get guys that play defense as well too.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
but okay, let's move in. Start with since we're here, right? Let's start with Division 6B.
All right. Yes, looking at it right now. See what's on tap for tonight. Looking at the schedule right now. So at least on the schedule for most divisions, we're still wrapping up week 8. So there's a game going on tonight in Laval. I'm not scorekeeping that one. No, it's going to be Spartans and Towers FT.
Yeah, Towers versus, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that should be all right, man. That should be a decent game too. Two teams with a little bit of experience. They got some playmakers on the other side. I've covered. I've watched both teams play before, and again, I wrote Division 6. I want to say it was last year, maybe the year before. I can't remember. I've written for so many divisions in FPF, I can't remember. But I remember talking about Towers FT. There's a team that I thought could have been better than what they were, but I mean, they got some talent. So looking actually, stand corrected. Looking at Spartans, it's mainly a rookie roster here, with the exception of well, but so yeah, they got Ben O'Hyan, so James's brother. But I mean, other than that, it's and Yavar Ashrafi, I believe he's 35 plus as well. But other than that, he has a bunch of rookies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Yavar. Yeah, I know him. He doesn't play 35 plus, but I know Yavar. He's been in the league for a long time. So either way, it should be an interesting game between those two teams. Again, it's the only game on the docket for 6B tonight, and then obviously the next week will start.
Yeah, exactly. But to kind of just look back at the games that passed, right? Because since the last time we talked was on the Monday, so I believe that was the February the 17th. I would say we did. So so we had FC Bling, biggest Sats, that played Balls Deep versus Overachievers. Balls Deep got to keep their win streak, so they're 5-0, I believe. And then going down to the last week that just happened on the weekend on the Monday, we had FC Bling. FC Bling.
They beat the Stables.
Yeah, exactly. So close game. Yeah. So yeah, they beat the Stables, and then Oh, sorry, I'm going back from before. So basically, so I'm going back. I'm going back from the games that from February 17th to the 19th. So basically, all the top teams basically handle business.
Yeah,
they got their wins. They're all 5-1, 5-1, 4-1. I think 5-1 as well. So that's FC Bling, Emperor's Retreat, and Balls Deep. They took care of business, and then moving on to the next week, you had the Impact that dropped 46 on our dogs. FC Bling beat the Stables.
They beat them by 3.
Yeah,
so it's weird. I find this week with this division, because so last week the games you're talking about, right? Like last Monday and last Wednesday, they were all close games, right? And you hit this past weekend, right? February 22nd. Since then, we've had 6 games played in this division, and the FC Stables game we were just talking about, that was the only close game. It was a 3-point game. FC Bing took the win by 3. All the other games, Narn Dogs Impact, blowout. Bet the Over versus Cougars, blowout. Panthers Minutemen, blowout. Over Underachievers, they won by 10, still double digits, but they won by 10 over Cafe 6 and 7. Yeah, so it's weird that one week you get every game is close, and next week the majority of them are blowouts. So we'll have to see what happens tonight, right, with the Spartans and Towers FT to see who gets the W, and will it be a blowout? Will it be a close one? Come down to Laval and check it out. And
then for the coming week, so week 9, that's coming up. I didn't really see much interesting games. There is a lot of playoff things that could happen. But I think the biggest thing is going to be is balls deep playing balls deep playing bet the over, because balls deep is the only team that's undefeated right now.
Yeah.
So we only have one team. We have one team left out of the 25 teams, I believe it is. We have one team left that's pretty much holding on to the perfect record, and then
Yeah. Well,
and then Minutemen versus.
I mean, listen, best luck to them. I mean, again, the only team undefeated, that's something to be proud of. But again, what happens in the playoffs is going to matter the most. So you finish undefeated, handle your business, try to get that perfect 10-0 record, but try to go undefeated in the playoffs. That's definitely a different animal. But we'll see what happens. And good luck to them. Hopefully they could pull it off and be one of the few teams in this league that has gone undefeated and won it all.
Mm-hmm. Also, you have Minutemen versus Towers too. They both have 2 wins. So coming out to playoffs, this is actually could be a playoff game because each win's going to count, right? So I believe they're 12 and 13. So there are 11 and 12. I'm gonna just pull it up here just to make sure. But so they're both in the playoffs. But this game it's gonna be a big game that matters, because if they end up dropping, if you end up going 2-8 for some reason, that's probably one way to not make playoffs. Yeah. So Minutemen are 2-5. Towers FT are 2-3. But Minutemen has played already 7 games. So this game for them is this is a big game for them. So if they could win this game, you get them one step closer because their season's almost done. After this, they have 2 games left. Towers is a bit different, but getting a 3-game win kind of gets you out the red. You know, you want to keep in the green column.
Exactly.
Before you know it, the season's over, and there's that one game where you should have won, and you were like, damn, if you can take that back, go back to that game and actually win it, you have bigger chances to make the playoffs.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see what happens in 6B this weekend. Again, a lot of games this weekend they were talking about, so we'll see what happens. Moving to 6A right now. There's only one game going on tonight. Actually, I'm going to be scorekeeping that game in about 2 hours. It's going to be the Gold Rush. They're taking on very good football team. So a couple of buddies of mine on that squad. That should be a good game. It's going to be at Laval tonight in the on field number 1. So Gold Rush 3-3 so far. They're coming off of a loss. They're taking on a very good football team who are 2-3 right now. And like you were saying before, right? This is where the games in hand comes into your favor, right? Because I mean, again, very good football team. They've not been playing like a very good football team. At least last week. Actually, you know what? Actually, I'm wrong. Sorry. So, a very good football team. Their last game was January 26th. So So January 26th until tonight, February 26th. That's an entire month off. So, very good football team. They got hammered 26-6 against 90s Classics. But again, that was literally a month ago. So they've had time to kind of lick their wounds, and it's a veteran squad, right? Zachary Albers-Gill, Kenny Boutillier. A lot of guys on that team that have been together for a long time. Jonathan Joseph, even Pease. So Paulo De La Roca, our own homeboy here, Pease, he's on that team as well. So it's a veteran squad. They have a lot of winning experience. So they have to get off the Schneider again. They're 2-3, big loss last time they were out, but they have a chance on the reverse course against Gold Rush. And like I said, Gold Rush is coming in tonight 3-3, but they're coming off of, I believe, a big loss. Yeah, they lost actually. Well, not a big loss, a heartbreaking loss. They lost to Vengeance 19-18. That was back on February 10th. So looking at the day right now, today's the 26th. Yeah, so it was just a bit more than 2 weeks ago. So 2 teams, basically, when I want to ask you, Quaysie, 2 teams with a lot of rust. One team has been a month. The other team has been 2.5 weeks since they've last played. How much do you think the rust is going to play a factor in this game between the Gold Rush and very good football team tonight?
I think it's going to play a big factor. Maybe at the beginning, it's going to be a big factor. Coming down to maybe after the second drive, it should be fine. But the first 2 drives, it's going to be a big factor on offense and on defense going both ways. Especially if you have guys that kind of just don't do anything as much. Like I know a lot of guys just kind of play flag, right? So if you're not playing any sports for a good month, to kind of just get back into the system and just kind of like, okay, we're ready, let's play. You know, it takes time to adapt. You know, so I think the first drive on offense is not going to be the best drive. Same thing on defense. They probably blow out coverage, and then they're going to try to get back things. Things should get back together, but I think the first 2 drives is going to be a lot of rust. for both teams. You know, like 2 weeks is it's okay. It's not that bad compared to a month,
Yeah.
but I think both teams are gonna be rusty. I think at the beginning it's gonna be just a rusty kind of game until they both get back into it. Then after that, I think we will be fine.
Okay.
So going back to the previous games of it's kind of funny how we're seeing this because going back to week 7, right? So you had Angry Birds that played Bum City, they won by 15, and then you had McGill Swim Team that beat Unseen by 18, and then you had Team V played Chamonix Choj, which Team V actually lost. Chamonix Choj basically ended Team V's.
But Team V is 4-3 right now.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so never mind. So that was still a pretty big game, and they actually won in overtime. That's what I have over here. So they won in overtime. So they got the 1 point, and then you had then after that, going to the next week of week 8, you have Creamsicle that actually got a big win. You know, they're one step closer for playoffs, and then Vengeance also got a nice little win too. They're one step to make a better shot to make playoffs, and then McGill Swim Team take care of business. And then this is where I was getting at too. 90 Classic played Scumbags, right? So 90 Classics. Oh no, sorry. Scumbags ended up driving down at the end of the game. They scored a touchdown, and they're down by 1. They end up going for 2, not converting, and losing the game.
Right.
So my question for you is, because we have a new rule that we have overtime now, where both teams get 1 possession. It's not where the game before we used to have is that if the game was tied, the game was overtied. If it was 20-20, that's how it ends.
Exactly.
Now we have overtime where each team gets a possession. You either go for 1 or you go for 2. If you're the starting team, you make a choice. If you go for 1, the other opposite team. If you go for 1, you get it. The opposite team has to go for 2, and vice versa. If you go for 2, then the other opposite team has to go for 2, and then again, it can still end a tie. If you're Scumbags and you score a touchdown, you score the game-winning tie touchdown, you score, are you going for 2 to win the game and just call it a day? Or are you going for 1 to force the overtime and then win the game in overtime?
So it's an interesting question because you were talking right before about Team V and the Chamonix Chos where that game went to overtime. And you see the overtime starts. Team V goes for the extra point. It doesn't work. Chamonix Chos get the ball back. They went for 1. Team V. Chamonix Chos get the ball. They go for 1 and it's successful. They get the W. Obviously, it's a bit of a different situation. If I'm the team, it depends if you get the ball first. I think I'm of the opinion that it's easier going for 1 than it is for 2. I know a lot of teams, especially in the higher divisions, always want to go for 2. That's, I think, more of a point differential thing. Some teams might prefer the more space you get when you go for 2. Obviously, it's 5 yards more, but it's also 5 yards further from the end zone than a 1-point convo would be. I would just take the ball and go for the win. Honestly, I hate settling for ties. For me, ties feel like losses. I mean, in the points column, you do get the 1 point, so that's something. But I mean, I'd rather go for 2 and get the W and go home happy. So yeah, I would if I'm getting the ball first, and it's the first possession of overtime, I can see going for 1. But I can also see a lot of teams why they'd want to go for 2. Obviously, if the other team goes for 1 and they get it, then you have to go for 2 for the W.
Sorry. I think I'm talking about when they scored, they went for the win, not the converse.
Okay.
I was saying, are you going for 2 or are you going for 1? You're going for the tie to get it to overtime, or you're going for the
So that's a different thing. Even that. So I know a lot of teams will still go for 2 and go for the win. I'd rather go for 1 and send it to OT. To be honest, I always think it's easier to get a 1-point conversion than it is a 2, and I think your chances jump exponentially. Pardon me, if you're going for 1 then versus going for 2. So I would go for the 1 and try to send it to OT.
Okay.
What would you do?
I would go for 2.
Okay. That's fair.
In my
That's fair.
head, I'm trusting my offense, and it also depends who my quarterback is too, right? Because
Right. Right.
nowadays, what I realize, there's so many teams that go for two, and everyone has a two quarterback system, the three quarterback system where they drop someone, so it kind
Yeah.
of opens up the field
Yeah.
as much. Some
Yeah.
teams actually do when they go for one and they drop two quarterbacks and at
That's
the
true.
5 yard
That's true.
line. I
That's
find
true.
that
That's true.
crazy, but. Depending on my quarterback, if he's a running quarterback, but I'm someone I'm gonna go for two anyways. Like I'm just trying to. I want to end it now. I don't want to go to overtime. I don't want to do all this work. We drive down the field. We score the touchdown. We go for the 1 point convert to tie. We go over overtime and then we lose in overtime. I'm just like, what's the point? Let's just we have the ball. You know, it's on us. It's not on them. It's on us.
Right.
We're in control. Let's just score a touchdown. Go for the 2 point convert. Win the game on us. Everything it's on us. Not we don't leave anything to fate. We leave everything to us.
I hear you, but I mean, if you're putting your defense on the field and telling them to get a stop, it's kind of on you too, right? I mean, obviously the offense has the ball; they know where they're trying to go. But I mean,
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I think there's two sides to that argument. But all right, I mean, hey, listen, I feel you. I mean, I can make the argument that okay, listen, so you get the stop, or you try, you make your way, you march down the field, and you get the W. Ideally, if you get the 2 point conversion, I don't know. I just feel like a couple extra downs, a couple extra minutes of football is never a bad thing because we're paying for it after all. But I'd rather be like, you know what? I trust my defense. And listen, if you're giving up like 45 to 50 points, no, you don't want to trust your defense. You got to read the field of the game, right? You have to be, if the score is like 47-46, like, okay, should I go for the one for overtime or to tie, or should I go for the 2 point and win it by one? Then I go for the 2 point conversion because your defense hasn't stopped anything that day. But if it's a tight game and it's like less than, let's say, 35 points, I don't know. I might try to put the game in my defense's hands and be like, you know what? We can get a stop here.
You give them a try. Also, you have momentum, right? You just finished scoring a touchdown.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah. Exactly.
use this too, you know. So, but I understand it can go both ways. Trust in your defense, and then get the stop, and then you go for the 1 point, and then you end up winning, right? So
yeah,
it's all right. So let's go to Division 5.
So 5B. Yep.
Yeah. Division 5B.
All right. So
so Pump and Dump are no longer undefeated. That's the first thing I see. They did have a tie, but now they have a loss. They lost versus Pump and Dump. Do I have the right division? Oh, sorry. I have 5A. 5.
I mean, you do 5A if you want to go back to 5B. It's up to you.
Okay, let's do that since I already started it, right?
There you go. All right, so Pump and Dump. Yeah, so I see what you're talking about. Yeah, so loss right there. So you know what? So I was this weekend. I had like a break. I had like a 2-hour break. I was doing some work, and I have a habit of like sometimes I'm taking a break. I just kind of want to disconnect from what I'm doing. I was writing something. I was like, I want to disconnect. So I turned on the TV, and the movie Ali was on. I don't know if you saw it. It came out 15 years ago or so. Will Smith plays Muhammad Ali, obviously. And
I've seen it.
Okay, so it's that scene where in real life where George Foreman knocks down Smoking Joe Frazier, right? And he wins the heavyweight championship. He shocked everybody. Everyone thought George Foreman was just a really big stiff. And obviously at that time, Ali got out of the legal situation he was in. He didn't have to go to jail, but he was free to fight, and he was going to fight Frazier for the heavyweight championship that he had to forfeit when he got arrested. And I remember the announcer was like, "Oh, down goes Frazier, down goes Frazier." So that's kind of the feeling. Not to compare Smoking Joe Frazier, who RIP, one of the greatest bosses in the history of the sport, to Pump and Dump, but that's kind of the feeling that I got when I was like, oh, "Okay, well, yeah, Pump and Dump suffered a loss." I mean, again, they're 3-1-1 right now, but a loss is still a loss. And I think last time we talked, I might have talked about this game a little bit. Mixed Mambas, again, that's a talented team. Mixed Mambas, yeah, I remember, because it was February 17th. Mixed Mambas are a talented team. Their record doesn't necessarily say who they really are, but again, they knocked off Pump and Dump, so I'll credit to them. So Mixed Mambas kind of pulling a Joe Frazier and knocking down one of the teams who many thought could be the champs of Division 5A.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so looking at it here, so now so you know what? Actually, Miss Mama's, that's three wins in a row for these guys. They knocked off the Baby Sharks. They knocked off Pump and Dump. And they got to win Saturday. They followed it up a big W 45-36 over the Texas Whales. So for the last time we met, Mixed Mambas were 0-3. They were 1-2, pardon me. They were 1-2. So now they jumped up all the way to 3-2. So they're putting themselves in the mix right now for like to be one of the top teams in the division again. So on a 3-game winning streak. So congrats to them. Mixed Mambas. Their next game coming up for these guys is this Saturday against Emergence at Embrassard. So maybe they can make it 4 wins in a row.
Mm-hmm. No, they're making some moves at the right time too, right?
Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
The perfect time to do it. I see LS Tigers and Brews are 0-5. They're both 0-5.
Yeah.
They're scoring some points. I mean, Brews scored 32 versus Super Troopers, and they scored 34 versus No Flags Given. So they're scoring points. They're just letting more points scored on them.
Exactly.
And then LS Tigers are just not doing much Tiger things, but they're struggling here.
Yeah, that defense is giving us some points, man. Reborn Prospects dropped 37 on them. Then Balsa Hard University dropped 33. Again, you gotta play some D if you want to get some W's in this league. I mean, the next opponent, LS Tigers, taking on the Old Pats. That's coming up next Monday at St. John Vianney at the college. So I mean, Old Pats are a team right now. Old Pats is sitting at 5-1, right? And their offense is looking pretty decent at least. I mean, that's going to be a tall task for for the LS Tigers if they want to get that W because Old Pats they're not a team you can take lightly. Again, 5-1 record.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And then moving forward, we have 2 pretty big games. We have Divine Devils versus Reborn Prospects.
Yep.
And then we have No Flags versus Pump and Dump. So we have 2. Yeah. So Divine Devils and Reborn Prospects are more at the bottom of the path, I believe, but they have a kind of playoff game. That's to a point like the more wins, the more you need more wins, right? So I think they're I think they have 2 wins each, and then No Flags versus Pump and Dump. Those are the two powerhouse teams that are going to be playing versus each other.
Well,
No, actually, no. I made a mistake. So, actually, no. Take it back. Defined Devils are actually 4-0, and Reborn Prospects are 4-2. So that's actually gonna be really that's gonna be a good So that's gonna be a good matchup. And then No Flags versus Pump and Dump. No Flags Given, versus Pump and Dump. That's also 2 powerhouse teams that are playing. So you have the top out of the top. You have the top 5 teams right now that are in. 4 of them are going to be playing next week. So that's 2 games to actually look at to kind of see who's exactly where. And
that's it.
Devils are actually the only team undefeated right now. So they're playing for the undefeated.
Yeah, they're 4-0 right now. Yeah, they're 4-0. So it's going to be interesting, I think, like we were talking about, right, with Pump and Dump. So, I mean, looking at these guys, again, we talked about, right, they had the big loss this past week to the Mixed Mambas. But even before that, right, Pump and Dump, they're coming off of a tie. So in their last 3 games, Pump and Dump is 1-1-1. They tied the Thunder Buddies back in week 4. Then they blew out the Underdogs 32-6. But then again, they lost this past week, 2 weeks ago now to the Mixed Mambas. So their game against No Flags Given, that's going to be a big game like you're talking about right this Saturday. And it's kind of where's Pump and Dump going to go from here, and are they really legit contenders? Because they haven't looked as impressive as they should the last couple of weeks. I mean, it was only 1 loss, but it's still, that could easily turn into 2, maybe even 3, depending on what happens to them the next couple of weeks. Because even after that, they have Ambush, right? Ambush, the record is not spectacular, but it's still a veteran team. Ambush actually 3-3 right now, so I don't think anything's going to be a given for Pump and Dump. Just looking at a couple. I know there's one matchup going on tonight. I'm just trying to get it here on my screen. Yeah, so it's going to be at Statty Bear. Yeah, Reborn Prospects against Thunder Buddies. Thunder Buddies, obviously, a team looking for wins right now. I think they're at the edge of the playoffs looking in. Yeah, they're actually at the last spot. They're in the 16th spot. They're 1 point up on Freshman XL, underdogs and deep shots, right? So Thunder Buddy is their team that needs to start stacking some wins together. Obviously, a veteran squad, Will Power on the team, Terry Ballas, obviously a good buddy, friend of FPF, one of the referees as well. So they're a team that's going to need to stack some wins together. Being the Thunder Buddies again, they're coming off that tie like we talked about with Pump and Dump, and they have a win over. Okay, so they actually have the tiebreaker over Freshman XL, so that's good for them. But they're a team right now, Thunder Buddies. They've only played 3 games, right? So
Yeah,
they have games in hand on a lot of teams, but like we were talking about last week, they're gonna start having a lot of games over the next couple of weeks. Like again, tonight they're playing Reborn Prospects. Then next Tuesday, so 6 days later, they're playing Defeated Devils. Then you have Opats. Then they have Super Troopers. So it's not exactly the easiest of schedules for Thunder Buddies. So we're gonna have to see what happens with those guys.
yeah, they're gonna have to try to make sure they take every win, every game at a time, and make sure they get their wins where they need to get
Exactly.
the wins.
Exactly.
Because, as you said, they're at the bottom of the pack, right? So
Yeah.
they need to.
Not to any fault of their own. They've won every game so far, but it's just again like the teams that are behind them are only like a point behind, right?
Yeah,
So they got
exactly.
to
That's exactly it.
space.
Yeah. Before you know it, you could drop the next three, and then you get yourself into a situation where you don't want to.
Exactly.
All right,
All right, man. Let's you want to hop
division.
to
So
four
now,
B?
yeah. Oh no. So we did 5A, but we didn't do
Oh yeah, sorry,
five.
5B. Yeah, you're right. My bad. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So
Five
let's go
B.
to 5B.
See, it was my suggestion to do that, and I totally forgot that I did that. All right, good job, Brent. All right, so 5B right here. Looking at the standings yet. So Ducks 5-0, still Gooners still 5-0. So there's still a couple of impressive teams, but again, this is fluid, right? You have 4 teams that are tied for first, right? In Ducks, Past Arabia, Gooners, Big TDs. You have Le Manjo de Bang with 9 points, Dragon Magic 9 points, and then a slew of teams with 8 points, right? So first place is definitely up for grabs in the division. Right now, the Ducks they officially hold it because they're 5-0. But I mean, they're tied with a bunch of other teams, right? So it's going to be interesting to see. I think this is one of the most competitive divisions in all of FPF right now. Looking at the Ducks right here, they take on Sourpuss. So they're off this week. They take on Sourpuss next Wednesday. Looking at the rest of the things here, and I don't know, are there any games that kind of jump out to you in
Yeah.
5B?
So what I have right here is that Turbo. Sorry, I have like small names for them, so there's so many teams.
Yeah,
so
they
Super Turbo. They dropped 58 points, which is pretty impressive when you drop 50 points. They dropped it versus Sleeping Nobody. So they took care of business there.
Mm-hmm.
Going out of business didn't take care of business, so they lost to Sour. So so the reason why I also have them is because that punchline, but also the fact that they're 0-4, so they need to try to get a win here.
Yeah.
Flag Dealers are one step to get a win. So Flag Dealers also. So that's the game that I saw. So Flag Dealers played Mighty Ducks. They lost 27-26.
Yeah.
They actually did the same thing. So Flag Dealers one step closer to the win. So basically they scored and they went for 2 to try to win the game as well. Right. So they ended up scoring. I believe there was not much time left, and they go for 2 to try to win the game, and they don't get it, and they're 0-7.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's that. So Mighty Ducks get out the win from that. Big TDs take care of business. Big TDs take care of business. They get the blow-off win, 40-12. Sleeping Nobody one step closer for playoffs.
Yeah, they got a W over the Demons. Basically 26-25 this past week.
Yeah, so they get one step closer because right now they're number 17. One more win, they get to be in the green in the middle of the pack. So that's a big win for they got. Then I also have a shout out for
Maule. I was gonna say it. Yeah.
Big shout out to them dropping a 60 piece. At the end of the day, if you could drop 60 points, I mean, congrats to you. Big shout out. It's not not the easiest thing to do. 60 points is a lot of points to score on. Even though Mama's favorite is the bottom of the pack at 0-7, they still drop 60 points on you guys. So, but yeah, that's pretty much what I've had. That's pretty much what I looked at, and then moving forward. For the next week, so week 9, you have Mighty Ducks versus Gooners. That's going to be a pretty good game. Mighty Ducks are 4-1, and then Gooners are 5-0. You know, so you start having those top. Gooners are right now number 3rd seed, and Mighty Ducks are number 8 seed. So it's nice to see now you start having those top seeds start playing versus each other, just to kind of see who's better than the other person, right? Who's the better team. So that's gonna be a nice game to see. And yeah, and then we have no pun intended versus the Pasta Arabid also too. That's gonna be a very good game. Pasta's 5-1, and no pun intended is 4-2. You know, so you have a lot of the positive teams that are 4-2 that are playing versus teams that are 5-1, 4-1. So you have the top of the ceiling teams right now that are playing. They're going to be playing versus each other next week. So it's going to be good to see, kind of seeing how the standings goes and who wins and who loses.
Okay, I got 2 things with this division. First, Crasho boys. We talked earlier in the season on a couple of the podcasts. They're one of the top teams. They've lost 2 in a row. They lost to the Gooners back on February 2nd, and so they had then 21 days to kind of lick their wounds, and they got edged out 31-27 to the Maccabees this past Sunday. So 2 losses in a row for Crasho boys. So let's see if they can kind of get back in control, if you will, instead of crashing. Okay, that was horrible. Kind of get back on track. Again, schedule doesn't do them any favors. They're playing the Ducks, right? That's coming next Thursday at Jean Vianney College. So, I mean, that's going to be a huge game. So let's see if the Crasho boys can get on track. And like you said, that 60 burger that Le Manjo de Binge, I think I'm pronouncing that right, dropped on, not 60 burgers, sorry, 60 piece, like you're saying, dropped on Mama's Favorite. So the names of the teams, again, that's this appropriate Mama's Favorite. I guess her favorite donuts kind of did her in. Are you a donut guy?
Yeah, I like donuts.
Okay.
I enjoy it. Well, I enjoy a donut here and there.
Okay. I'll tell you. Okay. I'm going to add. Okay. So as a kid, like in Montreal growing up, they had Dunkin' Donuts. Now, I mean, the last couple of years, they got rid of them all. They have Tim Hortons. Yeah. I think Tim Hortons is hot garbage. I'm not a coffee guy. I don't drink coffee, so that's why I never go to Tim Hortons. I find their donuts are hot garbage. I go down to the States a lot for family, sometimes for work and stuff, of contract stuff, and like when I can, I try to go to Dunkin' Donuts. Not all the time, because God knows I shouldn't be eating that, and it's not the greatest for your health. But I try to go down and maybe like 3 times a year to Dunkin' Donuts. I just find the donuts are better there. If you had to pick a donut, what would be your favorite donut?
I just like the classic. Well, actually, no, that's a lie, because they actually opened up Homer Donuts now.
Yeah.
I have one that's literally down my street, like maybe a 2-minute drive, not even.
Okay.
So they have this Oreo donut, which is delicious.
It's not bad at all.
I like Oreo, right? So like, let's say if I go to Dairy Queen, I get the McFlurry, the Oreo McFlurry. Same thing for McDonald's. I don't eat McDonald's anymore, but when I used to eat McDonald's, I used to always have an Oreo McFlurry. So
okay, nice.
Anything Oreo related, that's all me. Anything, so that's something that I enjoyed. Yourself?
Okay, I hear you, man. So you know what, like, if I go to Dunkin' Donuts, so like I know at my work end of the year party, someone brought donuts, so I had like half of one. It was I like the old school, like the chocolate glaze.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one. Same thing if I go to Dunkin' Donuts, I like the chocolate glaze, or underrated one, the French cruller. It's kind of like a tire. It was like these kind of grooves in it. It's weird to describe. Anyways, I like that. But yeah, so Homer. So like my mom lives in NDG, so I try to visit my mom every couple of weeks. Okay. And I went there the other day to get a haircut. So my barber's like 3 doors down from the Homer's, like the first one they opened up in DG. And I went in there for the first time, I think over the holidays. And I don't want to wait in line to get donuts. So when I went down there during the holidays, there's one person in front of me. It's actually funny. This girl from my gym who's like super fit. She was in Homer's. And I'm like, what are you doing here? And she's like, what are you doing here? And like, clearly we're here for the same thing. So we both kind of had a laugh. And I was going to the gym after to work it off. And she said she was going to go to the gym that night, but whatever. That's neither here or there. So I ended up getting, it was like, I hate candy. Like I'm not a candy guy at all. I don't like sprinkles. I don't like sour. Like I hate licorice. I hate all that stuff. But it had this donut. I think about the Oreo one that you're talking about, but it was like, this one was like chocolate and it had like O. Henry on it.
Oh
And
wow.
I'm not a like I like chocolate. And if I had to choose a chocolate bar, it'd be O. Henry. Oh, I'm kind of like a chocolate snob. For me, it's either O. Henry or peanut M&Ms. If you give me peanut M&Ms, like I'll be your friend for life. And it was just something like I had O. Henry pieces on it, and it was awesome, fantastic.
Right. That's actually funny to talk about that. I believe there used to be a Dunkin' Donuts in IGA, right?
NDG.
Sorry, NDG, right?
Dude, I grew up on Beaconsfield. I used to live on Beaconsfield and Sherbrooke Street. My mom lives on Beaconsfield in St. Jacques now. So I go by her house. It's like 10 minutes from where I live now. Yeah, they used to be right on the corner, dude. Right on the corner.
Okay. So I used to go to acting school. I used to be down the street from there.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay.
I used to go to Dunkin' Donuts every Saturday morning. I used to when they took it away, I was like, "What's happening?" I was so confused.
I feel you. I feel you.
One summer I did not go, or 1 year I didn't go to acting school. So the following year I go back and I'm like, okay, I've finished my class. I'm like, I'm gonna go down the street. And I'm looking. I go into the store, and it's like a gas station ish. Actually, not. It wasn't probably a gas station. It was probably like a Depanar at that time.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah, I guess into a Dep. It was a couple of now it's a condo, but it was a couple of things before that.
Yeah. So I went into there, and it wasn't there. And I was like, what's happening here?
Yeah, a bunch of BS, man. Bunch of BS.
Not happy about that.
I got to give a quick shout out. This girl Andrea I went to high school with. She ended up working there. So me and my boys, after going clubbing, 20s at the time, we would take either someone had a car, we take the night bus back, and we get off and go to Dunkin' Donuts at like 4 a.m. And she'd be working the overnight shift on Saturday night. So we order like the munchkins. So I think it was like she'd give us like 50 or like 100 or something for like $2, whatever we give her a tip, obviously. And she just fill the thing as much as you could with munchkins. And I was like, yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, they got rid of that Dunkin' Donuts. I want to say maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago, and it's like it was heartbreaking. As a guy who grew up in NDG, it was like, yeah, that place was awesome. I remember like my parents would bring me there as a kid, like a random Friday, like for like hot chocolate or something in the winter, whatever. Or obviously a donut, and yeah, it's a good time. It's good times. Tim Hortons sucks, by the way. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't like.
Yeah.
So, question for you before we move on.
Let's get off the donuts.
Yeah, the Ducks play Sourpuss.
Yeah.
Do you think the Ducks are going to take care of business and continue their 6-0, or do you feel an upset coming here?
I mean, Sourpuss. They're 3-2 right now, hanging on to one of the second to last playoff spot right now. I want to say, it's a good question. I don't know if I can trust the Sourpuss offense. Yeah, they put up 43 against going out of business, but then other than that, they've only scored more than 30 once this season. No, I'm gonna say the Ducks. I think the Ducks' defense is just gonna be too good going against Sourpuss. Sourpuss they're not a scrub team. Like they have talent on their team. I just think they're not gonna be able to stop the Ducks' offense as much as they should to get the W.
All right. Let's move forward to Division 4B.
All right. 4B. Yes, I know Win Diesel is still in first place. The team that has no business being there. I love busting their balls. It's quite fun. Yes, I mean, listen, it is what it is. They're taking advantage of the cap and where they're able to fit your team. So no harm, no foul for those guys. It's not their fault. Looking at the schedule here for 4B, any games going on tonight? There's one.
Yeah,
we got the West Island boys. Yeah. Snowden Deli Deegans. Say that 3 times fast. That's the West Island boys. I know we talked numerous times on this podcast. A little bit of a disappointing season. Listen, Snowden Deli Deegans are going to try their hardest to get the W. They have a couple recognizable names too. Adam Lieblin on this team, Adam Malinoff, a couple guys I've seen play before. Lewis Epstein. So I had mentioned him when we're talking about Division 6. West Island boys, this is a game they should be winning. This is not a game they should be fudging around with. The Snowden Deli Deegans, their offense has struggled. They put up 6 In the last game against the Chosen Ones, they put up 19 in their 44-19 loss to the Tua Army. This is a team who will score 26 points or more once this year. So that's nothing to write home about offensively. West Island boys, looking at the record right now, they're 3-2. So I mean, yeah, this is a game they should be winning. Like they should win. Will they win it? You have to go onto the field and prove it, obviously. But West Island boys, they're coming off of a W a couple weeks ago against Case of 12 or Cast the Dudes, whatever. Yeah, West Island boys should be winning this game. But again, you have to go onto the field and actually do it. That's not. Sometimes it's easier said than done.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Mofos. They got their first win of the season.
Yep.
Impressive win too, 40-13. So big shout out to them. I'm sure it feels good for winning the first game this season so far. They're 1-4-1, so they do have a tie, but a tie is not a win. So for them to get the first win, it's a kind of they also it's a good. It's good that they got the first win. Plus, if they end up making a little push here, finishing their season 3-4-1, that tie could actually mean a lot. So,
that's it. That's very true. That's very true. The ties they suck, but I mean, yeah, at the end of the year when you're trying to get into that playoff spot, especially the last playoff spot, sometimes that helps you out. Looking at these guys here. So I know last Monday, obviously, we had the storm and all that. So things were hectic. So I know looking at the notorious Wales, they had a forfeit victory over the Parlay Tilters. So hopefully it's just because of the weather, the Parlay Tilters couldn't get up to the game. Hopefully it's just not a forfeit where they decide not to show up because it's too cold outside at the last seconds. I mean, forfeits suck. It sucks for all the teams involved. Hopefully, I don't know, we didn't check, but hopefully they let the league know ahead of time so that not to waste anybody's time for going all the way to Stady Burr. So that was 2 Mondays ago, February 17th again. The weather has cleared up today. I mean, the rain, I'm an Aquarius, so I love the water. I don't mind the rain. Cleared off some of the snow. It's easier to get to a lot of the fields the last couple of days. So hopefully this weather keeps up.
The weather is so much better now. Especially talking about, sorry, you said parlay? You said parlay?
Yeah, parlay tilters. Yeah. They're back in action.
They actually have. So I was looking down for the week 9 schedule.
Yeah.
There's some interesting games, but a game that I actually just kind of looked at was actually their game versus Slippery Slopes.
Yep.
Because coming down into the playoffs, right? Slippery Slopes are number 11, and Parlay Tiddlers are number 12, right? So a win there, whoever gets that win there is going to have the tiebreak versus each other. Because they're both 11, 12. You know, when it comes down to those 11, 12, 13, 14 slots, they kind of go up and down, you know? So that's going to be a pretty big game for both of those teams this Saturday in Brossard.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, you talked about it, right? All the wins matter, and especially again, two teams that are tied with points, right? It's Slippery Slopes are 2-1. Parlay Tilters are 2-2. They both have 4 points, right? So whoever wins that game, I don't want to say 100% they're going to make the postseason because that's definitely not the case with a lot of teams right behind them, like the Coconuts, Akatsuki, Tua Army, 4 points, even the Mofos with 3. A lot of teams on their heels. But again, if you're able to get that W, whether it's Parlay Tilters or Slippery Slopes, you have a huge chance to at least create a little bit of space and then jump up into that logjam of teams that are tied for fifth all the way through 10th with 6 points. There's like a glut of teams in there. One team I should say that's caught my attention. So Chateauguay Community College, right? That's one of the teams right now. They're the only winless team, right? 0-4 on the season, but they have a chance right now. Their schedule is not so bad. They take on Coconuts this coming Monday, right? In Chateauguay, so a home game for the Chateauguay Community College. Hopefully, their friends and family fans turn up for that one. And then they also have next Sunday, so a couple of days later, they take on the Slippery Slopes, so that's going to be a tough game for them. And then they have Tua Army. So my question to you with the Chateauguay Community College right now, again, like I said, they're the only team without a win at 0-4. What do you think the chances are of getting a W before everything is all said and done?
I think they could get a win against Coconuts. I think that's probably one of their biggest chances. I don't see them being team sexy. Slippery Slopes, I don't see them winning that game either. Tua Army, possibility there, but I think and then after that you said they play Shaggy, the Forest Wales.
They play Notorious Wales. They could actually, I think they can maybe get a W there, maybe an upset, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so the finish.
I think the two chances they do have are against Tua Army,
Okay.
2-5 right now. Their defense is allowing 195, score 157, so they're negative there. And then Coconuts is 187. They score a lot of points. Coconuts is 170 in six
Right.
games. So they're scoring about 30 points per game. So about 27 actually mathematically. But
Yeah.
I think their two chances are versus Coconuts and Two Army. So I think they're going to at least win one of those games. I think they're going to finish. Hopefully they finish 2-8, but realistically, I'm going to give them they're going to finish 1-9, and they're going to win versus Coconuts this coming week.
Okay. Hey, win's a win. Take it where you can get it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
Let's hop
let's
over
move
to
on.
4A.
Yeah.
Yeah, Division 4A here. So the Penetrator is still 5-0. They are the only the only winless team is what I'm trying to say. Voodoo still 0-4. Ball Don't Lie 0-4 and 0-6 is the record for the Blue Balls. So looking at the schedule here for 4A, trying to see any big matchups this week. So looking at it right
Well,
here, go for it.
well, for what I saw, Trap Stars they go 2-2, so they
Yeah,
get they played Nighthawks, so they got a pretty good win for themselves, 2-2. So they're one
yeah.
closer. They're one step closer for the playoffs push. Ball Don't Lie still don't have any wins. I think they're the only team that has no wins
No,
this
there's just three
season yet.
teams, just three winless teams, and
Okay.
for there's Ball Don't Lie, Voodoo, and Blue Balls.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah. So Ball Don't Lie. Oh yeah, Stars Athletes. So Ball Don't Lie and Blue Ball. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I have them together for some reason as one team. Um. So Blue Balls. So yeah. So I have Blue Balls. Uh, they actually lost a pretty
I
close
won.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah, they lost 31-32. So, I mean, they almost won. They just couldn't finish. So basically, I kind of looked at the play-by-play. It seems like, wait, I have a breakdown of this, actually. So,
yes,
Kung
yeah,
Pao,
against Kung Pao.
yeah, so they basically scored. Blue Balls got back the ball, and they weren't able to finish. They weren't able to score at the end.
They had a long drive
And
though.
then
Blue Balls got the. I'm looking at it right now. The play by play, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They had a 9 play drive to finish off the game. I mean, that's a pretty impressive drive. Kung Pao was able to get 2 pass deflections to finish the game off. And I mean, 9 plays. I mean, ideally, again, it is what it is with Blue Balls. They're struggling at least record wise. You have 9 plays. Ideally, you should get into the end zone. But I mean, and that
they
game, like,
must,
sorry.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say for that game also it was a game of 2 halves, right? Like at the halftime of that game, it was 23-20 for Blue Balls over Kung Pao. Then in the second half, Kung Pao scored 12 points. Blue Balls only scored 8, right? So it's a case where their offense kind of just they took the pedal off the gas offensively. The Blue Balls and they came back to bite things. I mean, you have 9 plays to close out a game, no matter what division you're in. It's kind of
Yeah,
a lot of plays.
they must have been on the 1 yard line, 2 yard line, 5 yard. They must have been red, so they had to be pretty close. If you look at it, so the drive starts 3 yard catch, 11 yards, so you have 14 and 14, so you have 28. Then out 3, so you have 31, and then 6, you have 37. So they were 3 yards out, but
Yeah,
they've gained 37 yards. I didn't see if there was any sacks or anything like that. So
doesn't look
they
like there
must be
was.
incomplete. So that means they had three tries to score from the 3 yard line from it, because when after they got the six
Exactly.
yard gain, they had to be on the 3 yard line,
Yeah,
and then they got incomplete pass by defender, and then incomplete pass by defender. So that means they had 3 plays to score from the 3 yard line.
and
So
so sorry to interrupt you. So what that says to me is their offense either lacks execution or someone made a mistake or they don't have set plays for the end zone. And as you would know, I do as well. When you get into the end zone, you have to have set plays. You have to have plays that are going to work.
Yeah,
Obviously, there could be a drop here, and defense, still make a play, but you have to have at least one set play where you have to screen somebody open, or have an in and out route along the goal line, or someone in the back of the end zone doing a drag, and maybe a middle drag. So you have two drags going from opposite sides. You have to have some go-to plays in the end zone. I mean, again, you have three plays to get it from inside the 5 yard line. You have to come away with some
yeah,
points.
no, for sure. Especially yeah, 3 plays is way too much. 3 plays from the 3 yard line, you have to score there.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, you deserve to lose. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. You shouldn't win. Even if you had 4 tries after the third try, you shouldn't. They shouldn't give you any other tries.
Cold blooded.
Um,
All right. No, that's right. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. There's no lies in what you said. I mean, it is what it is. You got to score.
moving forward, we have two pretty big games coming up. We have sleeping all stars that are going to play versus Speed Academy. They're
Yep.
both 4-1, so that's going to be a very
Yep.
interesting game next week. And then Sun and Guns are playing. Sorry, I'm just gonna open this up. Sun and Guns are playing
They're playing the
the.
penetrators.
Yeah, exactly. Penetrators are 5-1. I want to say.
No, they're 5-0. Penetrators are the
Yeah,
only
5-0.
undefeated team. They're
Yeah,
five and
sorry. Yeah,
zero.
yeah, exactly. Do you feel an upset that might happen here?
I mean, yeah, 3-2 smoking guns. Let's see here. Yeah, I like the roster. They have a lot of guys I know on the team. Main man Phil Roberts, Kevin Donnet, Felix Clermont, Ben's on the team. Yeah, you know what? I want to call the upset here. I'm going to say right here on the pod, Smoking Guns this Saturday in Broussard are going to knock off the Penetrators. I'll give you a final score too. I say it's going to be 35-33. There
Alrighty,
you go.
you heard it first from Brent. All right, let's go to Division 3.
Actually, there's one game going on tonight, I believe. It has Voodoo. Voodoo is actually taking on the Penetrators, so maybe I'll hear from the Penetrators. They're taking on Voodoo here tonight at I'm scorekeeping in Laval, so it's only a matchup tonight. So I expect the Penetrators to kind of roll Voodoo. And tell Voodoo
Yeah,
0-4
well,
this season.
Voodoo needs a constant roster. I talked to the quarterback
Yeah,
Frank, and he pretty much said he
yeah,
needs guys to show up. He needs guys to come play. That's their problem right now.
exactly.
They've been in the league for a while. The fact that they're in this division, I don't think I think they belong there when they have their constant roster
Yep.
that they usually have. I think if they actually had that roster, they wouldn't be they
Yeah,
wouldn't be
they
in
wouldn't
the
be all
situation.
for. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. I think they'd probably be 2-2
yeah.
because a lot of games are winnable. Frank is a veteran quarterback. He's been in this league for a while. We
Mm-hmm.
talked about it a bit in the previous podcasts where he just if he has a decent offense and playing call, but he just doesn't have the roster that's able to help him out. So that's the reason why. If you don't have a roster
Exactly,
that's there
exactly.
helping you out, there's no for sure you're not gonna be able to win any games.
No, that's it. Okay, so yeah, jumping over to Div 3 now.
Yeah.
So a couple matchups going on tonight. We got the Big Fat Bats and Never Overtime. So two veteran teams. That should be. I expect a lot of fireworks in that one, at least offensively. Never
Mm-hmm.
Overtime. It's weird. The Never Overtime's only scored 98 points, but I mean they've only played 3 games, so I mean that's not bad at all actually. Big Fat Bats.
No.
I mean they have the firepower to score. They're struggling a little bit offensively. They actually have 100 points in scored in 3 games. So I mean, Big Fat Bats 0-3, Never Overtime 2-1. You might see an upset right there. Might see an
Mm-hmm.
upset. We also have the underdogs taking on Idaho Ida Pimps. So both those games happening at Stady Bear. Both actually taking place tonight at 11 p.m. So two good games at Stady Bear. Looking at the schedule this Saturday in Laval, we have the Stoics against Air Force One or AF1. Blue Chip Self-Siders. Sunday, Big Fat Bats again, so they're back at it again, taking on the underdogs. So a short break for Big Fat Bats and underdogs again, playing tonight in 2 different games and then playing each other Sunday in Laval. We have Les Verts Full against Too Easy for Us. I like that name. I've seen it before. It's just every time I see it, it makes me kind of laugh. It's a decent name. And then so next Monday, Big Fat Bats are at it again. They're taking out Fort French Long. So basically, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, over the next I want to say like 6 days or so, three
There's a
games for
lot
Big
of
Fat Bats.
there's a lot of games in general for
Yeah,
division.
yeah, exactly. And then don't forget,
Iowa,
obviously, it's a lot of games, of course, as you know, right? A lot of games got rescheduled because of the whole Concordia Dome closure. A lot of games have been added now this coming week. There's some Thursday games coming up. Next week we never had Thursday games before, but this week some Thursday games have been added.
yeah, we have Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, Friday as well. Yeah, you're right.
We haven't had any Friday games, which is crazy to play a game on Friday, which is cool too. Depends on the vibe and stuff. But like, I wouldn't mind playing a game on a Friday night in the summer. I feel like that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like
Okay,
Friday night in the summer, I feel like that would be it would be a vibe. I feel like it would be a vibe.
100%. So I'll tell you, I was talking to Jeff, obviously Jeff Rosenblatt, the CEO now of FPF. That's going to be his goal, maybe for the spring, is to get some Friday games in there. Right away, he's like Friday Night Lights, and I'm like, that sounds pretty dope. The only thing is, of course, a lot of the officials in the summer or refereeing league, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, scorekeepers are playing and all that, and players are playing, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
that's gonna be tricky. But if we can get that, hey, why not, man? I'd be down for it for sure.
Yeah. Well, just to start, you kind of have to see how it is and how teams react to it. But I'm pretty sure a lot of teams would enjoy. You kind of have something to do, especially for the older guys now, right? So
yeah,
like
yeah.
I just turned 30, so I don't it's not that old, but like I wouldn't mind having a Friday night where I get to play flag and have some beers with the boys,
100%.
I wouldn't mind doing that.
So I'm glad you said 30 is not that old, because I'm in my 40s. So I mean, I appreciate that. but black doesn't crack. So I mean, besides the white on my beard, you couldn't tell that I'm in my 40s. But whatever, it's all good.
You don't work. I didn't think you were actually in your 40s. I thought you were in your 30s.
Appreciate that, my man. And you know what? I'd rather play at Friday at 10 or 11 than Sunday night at 10 or 11. I'll be real
there
with
you go. That's it.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to from last week from Division 3, where you had Beer Belly.
It's 8:00.
Beer Belly. They dropped a 50 burger.
Yeah.
And also shout out to Nomads versus Bruins. They dropped 49 to 48, where Bruins won that game. So they dropped over 100 points. Which to me, it's kind of like, sometimes I'm watching these games, I'm just like, how the hell did you guys score 100 points? Like, how is that even a thing? And then you have Blue Chips versus Barbecue Chicken, where I was scorekeeping. I was scorekeeping right next to that game, and they dropped 102 points, where it ended 52, where Blue Chips got an impressive win for them. But like,
even the B-ballers, dude. The B-ballers 62 to 6.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they dropped 62.
Jeez. Wow.
So,
okay.
A lot of points scored. Pretty impressive here. Also, I'll give a shout out to Backfield Penetration, 5-0 as well. Yep. Perfect season that they have. Udaho and Ida Pims, whatever, as well, 5-0 for you guys too. Yeah. And then you have
full.
Yeah, exactly. They're also 4-0, where they're gonna play. They're basically going to be playing this week too, as well, to keep their undefeated season versus they Malud. So that should be
a good game for sure.
Really good game. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of big games coming up in Division 3. Again, like you said, this is the most competitive, and I would say the most exciting division, like we've been talking about the last couple of weeks, right? And all
exactly.
No shade at Div 1, no shade at Div 2. It is what it is, right? You have the most amount of teams in Div 3, and I definitely think it's exciting. Speaking of Div 2, let's hop over to Div 2 right now. Trying to see if there's any games going on tonight in Div 2. Not sure if there is. Oops. Scanning down the schedule here. There is. There's two games going on tonight, actually. Both at Stady Bear. So underdogs, not wrong division. My apologies.
No, so there's only one game going on in Division 2, and it's Infantry versus Diamond Bougie.
Right, exactly. So yeah.
That's my
that should be a good game. That's right.
we're the bottom. We're right now. We're 11 and 12, so we're basically both the bottom teams. There's 15 teams in this division, and 12 make it. So we're kind of just at the bottom. Well, we're both 2 and 3, so this is actually a big game for both teams.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much a must win for both teams to kind of get back into the pack, because you have. That's one thing that's kind of crazy about this division, that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have 5 other teams that are in 3 and 3. So if depending who wins, but if we win, we go 3 and 3. We just pretty much tie the pack. Like we go from 12 to somehow we end up being 6. So we get a huge jump depending on the points for and the points against. But also if we lose, we pretty much just drop down back to 12, where we kind of are. So it's either like we win, we go to 7th, we lose, we stay in 12. So for Diamond Bougie, if they win, they do the same thing. They can go up to like 6, and then if they lose, they could drop down to 12.
Yeah. Well, I think if you guys get the W tonight, then you leapfrog at least ECW and Vultures for 10th and 9th respectively, because you have the head-to-head tiebreaker over them, so you automatically get placed in 9th.
But the thing is, we don't have it between Kush and Party Ballers, but we will beat them for points against, I believe.
Right.
Because right now we have 175. Depends on how many points we allow, but hopefully it's not more than like 20-ish, and then we'll see from there. But also something that's kind of interesting, you have Dirty Birds that took care of business versus Vultures. Actually, let me go back for it. Vultures took care of business, played Party Crashers. I score kept that game. They destroyed them by 21.
Yeah.
Then Vultures played Dirty Birds. Dirty Birds destroyed Vultures by 18. Then Dirty Birds played Kush, and they lose by 3 in
first game of the year. Exactly.
So it's very interesting how this division's kind of unfolding a bit. You still have the top. Don't get me wrong, Dirty Birds is still one of the top teams for sure at 6 and 1, and then one stop 5 and 1 as well.
So what stood out to me about that game between the Dirty Birds and Kush and Corinthians 13 is the fact that Simon wasn't the quarterback for Kush and Corinthians 13. It was former, I'm not sure if he still plays for Concordia anymore. My apologies if he does. Jalen Greaves. He ended up filling in for Simon Dagenet. He ended up throwing for 5 TD passes.
Yeah, I saw it too.
Right. And so Quaid, who's been phenomenal this season as a quarterback, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, right? And that's huge, right? I mean, you get the ball back to your opponents 3 times, and there you have it, right? They end up losing the game by 3 points. I'm just looking at the play-by-play here. Looking at the final drive of the game, and once again, props to Jalen Graves. Again, 5 CD passes. He's not a quarterback, right? So Quaid ended up throwing a touchdown. So it looks like it's a typo here. I believe he probably threw it to his dad. It says Quaid Johnson to Quaid Johnson for a 7-yard touchdown to end the game. So obviously that's a typo. I'm thinking that Quaid's dad, Lonnie, probably got the final touchdown of the game.
Yeah.
Or maybe Lonnie went, yeah. But so that score is actually not even, so a 3-point win, right? For
probably
it's not exactly. It's not even that close.
Yeah. Exactly.
So the interesting thing. Sorry, I was just going to say the interesting thing for me now is Dirty Birds. The schedule doesn't. I mean, Division 2. There's no real easy games. They're taking on this month. Not this Monday. The Monday after. So they got 2 weeks off now to get ready. But they're taking on Fins Up. And then they have Idaho U to Pimps right after that, and they finish off with the Infantry. Well, you guys, right? So 3 tough games for the Dirty Birds to finish the season. So it's going to be interesting to see now, can they shake it? 2 weeks off until the next game, can they shake off this loss? Was it just a small blip on the radar, or is it a sign of things to come? We're going to have to wait and see with the Dirty Birds.
Yeah. I was also saying what the Dirty Birds was Quaid, right? I think I said it in week 3 when we first did the first podcast, was Dirty Birds is going to go as far as Quaid brings them. So a game like this, right? I think this is his worst game this season. The fact that he throws 3 INTs, they're not going to win a lot of games of him throwing 3 interceptions like that.
That's exactly.
The first thing I said is I'm going to say it again. I'm repeating myself. They're going to go as far as Quaid brings them, right? So if Quaid has a perfect game, which the last they're 6 and 1, so the last 6 games before they played this game versus Kush, he's had pretty good numbers. And then he's kind of as you see now, the fact that he's thrown the 300 Ts, they end up having that loss, and it's the first loss of the season.
Yeah, like you said, yeah, you're 100% right. But what you said, right? Again, phenomenal player, Quay Johnson. But you're right. They have a lot of talent on the team, right? You can make the argument that they have the most talent, or at least as much talent as anybody else in Division Two. But like you said, they're only going to go as far as he takes them. Just looking at his last couple of games, right? The two-time All-Star. Obviously, we're talking about Quay Johnson. His passing numbers. So he's throwing again 3 TDs, 2 interceptions against Cushing Corinthians, 6 TDs, 1 INT against the Vultures, 6 TDs, no INTs against KGP. So yeah, he's been pretty solid the whole year. I mean, the 4 INTs over his last 2 weeks is a little concerning, but I mean, you look at it, he's been a solid quarterback the whole year. Obviously, he's the leader of their offense. I like to think that he's going to be able to bounce back. But again, like I said, the schedule does them no favors because they have 3 tough matchups again, finishing off with you guys at the end of the regular season. But again, they have enough talent on this team, I think, to overcome. But
yeah, for sure,
anything could happen.
Yeah, exactly. As we were saying, Division Two is it's competitive. If you have a bad day, if you have a bad game, you're most likely going to cause, especially as a quarterback, you're most likely going to cause your team to lose, and that's why that's why this division is actually so crazy. And the fact that you see that the top, when you're looking at 5 to 12, other than Diamond Bougie and Infantry, you have teams that are 3 and 3, 3 and 3, 3 and 3, 3 and 3,
yeah, exactly.
So it just goes to show, like, yeah, you'll win this week, but you'll lose the next week, and you'll win this week and you'll lose the next week. And then it's any given Sunday you guys could lose, right? So if you don't bring your A game, you're going to take a loss.
Yeah, or Monday, or Tuesday, or Thursday, or Friday, whatever, Saturday. But no, I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. All right, a couple of big games coming up this week. Saturday in Laval, ECW one stop. So ECW we talked about last time. Had a bit of a winning streak there. Started off a little slow. They're starting to find their rhythm. No Regard again. So No Regard right now struggling. I believe they're 0-6. I want to say on the season. They're taking on the Silent Ticklers also this Saturday in Laval. You guys have Mangoose. So yeah, 0-6 actually. No Regard. You guys have Mangoose coming up this Sunday. You got another 0-4 team. They're struggling to kind of find their way. And Mangoose, what do you expect out of those guys coming up this Sunday?
Well, No Regard and Mangoose. I'm not going to give it to Mangoose because I'm not going to go against my team. But these guys have to make a push now. They need to win. They need to win a game.
Yeah.
If they want to have any shot of making playoffs right now, because it's so tight with the bottom 12 teams. Also, for KGP as well, but they only played 4 games. They don't play an air game until like end of March. It's like something crazy like that. Yeah, they play their next game versus Infantry. They play versus us. But like we're gonna play like 3 games before that, so their schedule they're gonna end up being at the end where if they win games they'll get in. If they lose games they won't get in. It's gonna be very weird situation for them. But for Mangoose and for No Regard, like this is it. You guys have to start winning now because it comes to a point when if No Regard loses an air game, they go 0-7, right? Then they have to win the next 3 games. But even if they win the next 3 games, they'll probably have so many points. They probably have so many points against that they won't even have a shot to make playoffs anymore because they'll lose every tiebreak that they have. So it's like, I believe to make playoffs for Division 2, you're going to have to win a minimum of 4 games to get in.
That's it.
No Regard, like this is it. This is your last chance. If you guys like, maybe I don't know. Maybe 3 games will get you in. I doubt it. Good chance, 4 better chances. You know, because 3 and 7. If you get the tiebreak between, I don't know, Diamond Bougie, Easy. I'm not exactly sure who they're missing to play against, but 3 and 7, maybe 4 and 6 better chances. But like this is it. Like they have to kind of realize that every game is their playoffs. Same thing for Mangoose as well. You guys are 0-5. You play Infantry next. Like that's a playoff. That's a playoff game for you. Like. Moving forward for these teams, like KGP kind of gets a pass because they kind of also get
this in the game shit. That's the only pass I think KGP gets is the fact that they haven't played that many games.
Yeah, exactly. So they kind of get to see their future, right? So they kind of before they as I see right now, I have it pushed. I have it here on the screen. So the next game that they play, KGP plays against, is versus Infantry, and that is March 19th. Yeah. So Infantry, we're gonna play 3 games before we play them, and I'm pretty sure a lot of teams are gonna play. So KGP is gonna end up playing. We play March 19th, then March 22nd, 26th, 29th, April 2nd, April 6th. So they're gonna play at their games are gonna be very squished in, and everyone else is gonna have 8 games, 9 games played. So they're gonna be able to see who they have to win to kind of make playoffs. So that's a good thing for them.
They'll be able to control their own destiny. I mean, at that point, just because of the amount of games they're gonna have late. No regard, speaking to your previous point, they have the Silent Ticklers Saturday, like we said, you guys the week after, and then ECW and KGP. I mean, realistically speaking, I mean, listen, I'm friends with Ryan Perry and a couple of the guys on the team. I'd be shocked if they get more than 2 wins, to be honest. I'd be surprised if actually they got 2 wins, to be real with you. I mean, I think they have 1 in there, maybe, but 2, and even that, I don't think, like we said, 2 wins is not gonna get them into the dance.
No, exactly. So they like right now, as they should know, they have 4 games left.
Yeah,
it's for them. It's you guys are in do or die. It's a do or die situation here. If you guys want to continue the postseason, you guys gotta have to step it up.
The ball's in their court, right? The ball's in their court. Doesn't matter what we're saying. The ball's in their court. They have a chance to make a play and get some W's. Let's see if they can do that. Let's hop over to Div 1 quickly. 1 game tonight, Party Crashers and Royale Luminaire. Steady Bear tonight at 10 o'clock. Royal Luminaire still 4-0. The Braves 5-0. So the 2 only undefeated teams, pardon me, in Division 1. Congrats to Bless, actually. So Bless got a W. I'm looking at it right here. Bless knocked off Flagmont's sack. Yeah, 53-52. Last Sunday, Steady Bear. Big W for Bless. Congrats to them.
Yeah. He had Will Power actually at quarterback that game as well.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So big win for them. That actually saves them to make a playoff push there.
Yeah.
Because that win there, they don't have the tie break between Run It Twice. But if they end up getting an extra win, I mean, 2 wins pretty much get you into playoffs here. So
that's it.
It's a big win for them. It's a win that probably I don't think a lot of people thought they would have won that game at all. So it's pretty big for them. Going down for the rest of their schedule, they play Braves next week, March 3rd. And then they played Royal, and then they play All Stars and All Stars. So again, schedule is pretty. I think I said this 2 weeks ago when on the podcast thing. I'm kind of saying like I didn't see them winning any games after this, but they surprised us here. They beat a good Flagmont team, so maybe they could show something special versus the Braves coming up. If not, again, last time they played the Braves, they lost 36-20. So. Hopefully, maybe it won't be the same thing there. But again, they get to play All Stars twice, and they get to play Royal. So they need to win at least one of these other games, and pretty much hope Run It Twice doesn't win any games, and they can get themselves a chance into the playoffs.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, because you look at the All Stars, right? The All Stars remaining schedule, they have. They have 7 games left to play the All Stars, so I don't think they're going to catch the All Stars. I mean, well, they have a chance to catch them, obviously, but they need the All Stars. They need to either sweep the All Stars in those 2 meetings, or hope the All Stars, sweep them and hope the All Stars don't win any more games. All Stars have Run It Twice, where you guys they had them twice as well. So that's a big task to ask, for All Stars not to win any more games. So looking at your team there, Run It Twice. I mean, that's going to be the key. Like you said, can Bless catch Run It Twice? Because I mean, Run It Twice has the 40-34 victory over Bless earlier this season, but I mean that's the only win that Run It Twice has. So I mean, Run It Twice, you guys, you finished with looking at it here, the All Stars 2 Saturdays from now, Royal Luminaire the week after that, and then you finish with All Stars again. So it's going to be a case of can you guys run and win another game? How are you going to be able to stop Blesses if you win another game? Pretty much is what it is, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, one more win for us, we should be fine.
Like I said, 2 W's to get you into the dance for sure. Assuming Bless,
Unless, yeah,
or
drops.
exactly. But you never know. Anything could happen. They could pull out the upset against the Braves. Maybe not the Braves, but definitely against Royal and Luminaire. Maybe they can get the W there. We'll have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I think this will do it for this week because I know you have to run. I have to run as well. We're gonna come back, looking at the remaining teams we have to do. We have to do women's 1, women's 2, and we have 5v5. So we're gonna have to wrap that up. We'll do an extra episode obviously this week, so we'll have that in a day or two wrapped up for you guys. So we promise it won't be too long of a wait for that. So we've done all the men's divisions today. Quaysie and I, we both did our All-Stars for Division 6. So we combined Division 6A, Division 6B. So he has his All-Star team. I have my All-Star team. Again, just like the other teams. Everything should be up and running on Instagram and Facebook very soon. In the next day or so, hopefully everything will be set up there so you guys can see the teams we got. Vote on whoever you think has the best team, or even in the comments submit your own teams that you think we should have had, or teams that you would have if you had an all-star selection of your own. Again, we want the viewers to engage in this. So again, call us idiots, call us geniuses, whatever you want. We think we pick good teams. Hopefully you guys do too. But if you don't think we pick good teams, please voice your opinion. Again, pick your own teams and let us know how they were stacking against our teams. And yeah, I don't know, any cash donations you want to make to help improve our teams, let us know. Just cash donations in general. I'll take cash donations. You can pay me in food or sushi. Either one, I'm good.
All right,
All right. So anyways, this is the latest episode of the First and Goal podcast for FPF. He's Quaysie, I'm Brent. Thank you to our producer, Ali Reza, who's listening on the mics. And I don't think you guys can hear him at home, but he's doing a lot of the heavy lifting for us. So thank you to him. And again, like I said, we'll be back next time with Women's 1, Women's 2, and 5v5. Have a good night. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.